2019. We're very privileged to be able to host the Poetry Hour here every day of the festival. And so tonight we welcome a group of diverse poets with different voices and different languages. Our moderator is Satyajit Sarna, a writer and poet from New Delhi. He's the author of The Angel's Share, a coming-of-age novel, and The Profane, a collection of poetry. Along with him, we have Aadil Raza Mansoori, Anjum Hasan, Eliza Griswold, Perumal Murugan, Zeina Hashem Beck, and Zuni Chopra. I'm not sure if everybody's arrived yet, but we'll get them on stage as soon as they do if anyone's missing. But in the meantime, I'd like to invite our panel to come on stage. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Anywhere you like. I think we're missing Perumal, but we'll get him on stage. Oh, he's here. Okay. Okay, we have everyone, and I think two of you have to share a microphone. I'm going to read. Can I read from there? Sure, if you want. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay.
हाँ जी, 1 मिनट में मैं जा रहा हूँ.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Samvad for the second Poetry Hour at ZJLF 2019. Poetry Hour is a collection of multilingual readings by poets from across the world. Today, we will have readings in English, in Urdu, and in Tamil. And we have a very exciting set of poets here with us today, and I'd like to basically introduce them as they go up. May I make a small request? Could everyone please put their cell phones on silent? That really does help whoever is reading concentrate. To begin with, may I introduce Anjum Hasan. Anjum started out as a poet, and her first book of poetry, Street on the Hill, appeared in 2006 from the Sahitya Academy. She has also appeared in a number of definitive anthologies, such as the Blood Axe book of contemporary Indian poets. She is also the author of 3 novels and 2 short story collections. Anjum, if I can invite you to read.
Most of us have read romantic odes, you know, the Wordsworthian odes, and the Keatsian odes to various things of beauty. My ode is to something we also all grow up with, at least in Indian cities, the Chinese restaurant. We come in here from the long afternoon stretched over the town's sloping roofs. Its greasy garages and ice cream parlors, its melancholic second-hand bookshops with their many missing pages. Life's not moving. We sit at a red table among the dragons, near the curtained-off street-facing windows with their months-old orangeade. Out in the streets, there are schoolboys with their ties askew and the garish fruit sellers. We eat more than we need to. We eat so that our boredom's no longer dangerous, so that from the comfort of soup with the minor pleasures of chop suey, we can fend off the memory of cities unvisited, unknown and unknowable affairs, people with never-fading lipstick and confident gestures who we will never be. One day soon we'll be running. Our lives will be like the blur seen from a bus, and we won't read each other's letters thrice. But right there we're young. We count our money carefully. We laugh so hard and drop our forks. We are plucked from sadness there in that little plastic place with the lights turned low, the waiters stoned from doing nothing, the smells of ketchup and eternally frying onions, and eternally frying onions. I think I can hear a cow expressing his or her opinion on the poetry. This next one, I don't know what the cow will think of it. It's called In My Mother's Clothes. I feel the cool sweat from under my arms soak her blouse timidly. Shy, damp flowers of my sweat on her blouse. I wear her thirst blue and forest green and burnt orange as if they belonged to me. My mother's colors on my skin in a dusty city. I walk in her clothes, laughing inside, relieved of the burden of being what one wears, since in my mother's clothes, I am neither myself nor my mother, but more like that spindly creature of 6 who slips onto her fingers her mother's gold rings, pulls on an old cardigan that smells of sunlight and milk, and conducts herself, drowsy with love, through rooms with their curtains drawn against the honeyed light of June. Both these poems were from the book that Satyajit mentioned, Street on the Hill, that appeared in 2006. I'm now working on a series of prose poems on the city of Bangalore where I live. It's called Bangalore Diaries, and I'll just read a couple from there. They say, thinking for sure of the colonnades and promenades of other cities, that this is not a great city. They say, missing the grand squares and glittering fountains, that this city has no center. They say, envying clock towers that have for 200 years marked the hours, that this city has no pictures worthy of postcards. They say, reminding us of the profound reverberations of ruins, that this city has lost its past. They forget that you and I, walking down some main street, holding hands on a particular crossing, fell in love in this city. They forget that in thinking of love in the city, one can start to love the city, even if all one remembers when asked to say something about this love that the city so secretly enshrines is an image of a lone man in a mall on Valentine's Day, shyly picking out a pink bra. This last one is about the different ways in which we remember Bangalore's past. There is the past, and then there is how we think about the past. One man tells me, in the old days, we could see snakes here. The other man tells me, when I was a child out early on my way to school, I'd go past fields of sunflowers where the shops are now. In the mud between the flowers, I'd spot tracks left by cobras. One man tells me there were hardly any people living here and just 2 buses a day. The other man tells me there was the village of Gedalahalli and then nothing. The next settlement was Nagashettihalli. On a summer day, if you saw clouds of dust in the far distance, you knew it was the bus. One man tells me, I came here to work and in 50 years I moved from clerk to deputy chief. The other man says, to improve my English, I used to cycle furiously after school to Blue Diamond to catch the 3:30 show of a Charles Bronson or Mel Brooks film. But I couldn't understand the accents. I didn't know why people were laughing. The next day, I'd watch the same film again, and this time, make sure to laugh at the right scenes before anyone else could. The past could be a frayed sheet of paper whose fading words you read out again and again, even though you and everyone else already knows them by heart. The past could be a sail that you fill with the winds of your lungs so that it moves you forward into freedom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anjum. I'd like to invite up Zeina Hashem Beck. Zeina is a prize-winning Lebanese poet. Her books include Louder Than Hearts, winner of the 2016 May Sarton New Hampshire Poetry Prize, and There Was and How Much There Was, a 2016 Laureate's Choice Award. She is also the winner of the Best of the Net and Poetry Magazine's Frederick Bock Prize. Zeina.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. I love the cow and the birds and the nearby music, and I hate lecterns, but I'll live with this lectern. So I grew up in Tripoli, Lebanon, and then later on moved to Beirut. So my first language is in Arabic, but I write in English, and I guess this poem is sort of about that, and it's a ghazal. There's a reference in here to Sheikh Imam. For those of you who don't know who Sheikh Imam is, he was an Egyptian musician, composer, singer, who often sang the colloquial Egyptian poetry of poet Ahmed Fuad Negm. And it was very often very heavy political satire. So this is who Sheikh Imam is in the poem. This is called Broken Ghazal, Speak Arabic. I write in English the way I roam foreign cities, full of streetlight and betrayal, until I find a coffee shop that speaks Arabic. If we were born in the cities we long for, love, Paris, Prague, New York, what languages would they have taught us to speak? Arabic says the best singers are the peddlers. And the Quran, would it still lift us if it didn't speak Arabic? Sure, there's always Lenin. But I wonder if we would have found Sheikh Imam, who reminds us the wound is awake and love speaks Arabic, who reminds us no one can colonize a river, and the tyrant is always afraid of the poet, especially if she speaks Arabic. They say people who grow up in two languages have stronger memories. And they can hear the birds on the balconies speak Arabic, and they know a mountain of orange life jackets looks like spring, though it won't revive the dead who speak Arabic but no longer need a visa or translation. And you, Zeina, what else can you do but whisper to these broken lines? Speak Arabic. I thought I'd move to a love poem. I'm in an interfaith marriage, and I think this poem sort of came out of that. It also came out of a super Lebanese pop song I was listening to. Weird how poems come. This is called Say Love, Say God. I liked the idea of an impossible love. I was told a love so different can't make children with souls worth praying for. But those stories in the Bible and the Quran, love, we knew what they meant. When you said sin, love, you did not mean my legs or the way you were already inside me. When you said sin, you meant how one forgets Do you remember how we slept naked? You were there. I believed love is immortal, irrational, and sometimes tired. The sun, it seems, worships only the bodies of the young. When I say old, I mean how far we've traveled, love, how we go back. When I walk new cities, I always think of you, love. I tell you, look, lives upon lives upon lives. Sometimes heaven is when I'm away from you, love. Sometimes heaven is only the two of us. I know you understand. Only petty loves want to be worshipped. I liked the idea of an impossible God. I was told a God so different can't make children with souls worth praying for. But those stories in the Bible and the Quran, God, we knew what they meant. When you said sin, God, you did not mean my legs or the way. You were already inside me. When you said sin, you meant how one forgets. Do you remember how we slept naked? You were there. I believed God is immortal, irrational, and sometimes, yes, tired. The sun, it seems, worships only the bodies of the young. When I say old, I mean how far we've traveled, God, how we go back. When I walk new cities, I always think of you, God. I tell you, look, lives upon lives upon lives. Sometimes heaven is when I'm away from you, God. Sometimes heaven is only the two of us. I know you understand. Only petty gods want to be worshipped. So I was torn on the last poem. And so I'd like you to choose. Do you want an English poem or an English-Arabic poem? English-Arabic poem. All right, thank you for deciding for me. I've been working on these bilingual poems called the duets. And this is a really, really short one called Prophecy Nubuwa. Do you still smoke? نسيت كل شيء لكني لم أرمي علبة الجيتان. We never got to watch Aznavour live. مع أني أقلعت منذ عامين. My daughter thinks all the singers I listen to are dead. ابنتي تعتقد أن كل المغنين الذين أستمع إليهم ماتوا. And I keep saying things like سنعبر هذا الشارع بعد 60 يدا بيد في صباح يوم لا شمس فيه. We will cross this street in our 60s, hand in hand, on a sunless Sunday morning. فالمدينة لا تتذكر أحدا. Or, the city will not betray us. The city remembers what will come. والوحدة أقدم من الله. And the green parrots are migrating again. وأنا توقفت عن البحث عنك. And I have stopped looking for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zeina. That was beautiful. May I now invite Mr. Perumal Murugan to speak? Mr. Perumal Murugan almost needs no introduction. He teaches Tamil literature at a government arts college in Tamil Nadu. He is the author of 10 novels, 10 collections of short stories and poems, and 10 works of non-fiction. Several of these have been translated into English. His best-known novel, One Part Woman, won the ILF Samanvay Bhasha Saman Award for writing in Indian languages. His recent novel, Ponachi, has been shortlisted for several major awards. May I also invite Nandini up to help.
Good evening. I'm very happy and proud to read my poems in Tamil. நாட்களின் பெயர்கள். நாட்களின் பெயர்கள் பழமையின் சிதிலமாகிவிட்டன. மொழிக்கிடங்கிலிருந்து புதுச் சொற்களை சுண்டி எடுத்து சூட்டலாம். வாரம், மாதம், ஆண்டு என்னும் எல்லா கணக்குகளும் காலாவதியாகும். நாள் என்பதும் கூட. ஒரு நாளை குயிலின் கூவல் என்போம், ஒரு நாளை பனிச்சிதறல் என்போம், ஒரு நாளை கல்லின் இலக்கம் என்போம், ஒரு நாளை மலையுச்சி என்போம், ஒரு நாளை பிறை நிலவு என்போம். ஒன்றைப் போல் இல்லாத எத்தனை நாட்கள்! சில நாட்களுக்கு பிசாசின் கத்தல், மூட உருமல், பிணவாடை என்றெல்லாம் பெயர் கொடுத்து எளிதில் கடப்போம். கையுள்ளோர் கைகளை மூடிக்கொண்டு வந்தால் கூர்ங்கத்தி உள்ளே ஒளிந்திருக்கிறது. கைகளை விரித்தபடி வந்தால் ஆடைக்குள்ளோ வாயிலோ வைத்திருக்கும் ஆயுதங்களை மறைக்கும் தந்திரம். கைகளை குவித்து கொண்டிருந்தால் நிச்சயம் குருவாள் மறைந்திருக்கும். கைகளில் ஏதேனும் பழப்பையோ தீனியோ தொங்குகிறது என்றால் ஏதோ ஒன்றில் விஷம் தடவப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. கை கொடுக்க நீட்டினால் அது அந்நிய வழக்கம் என்று தவிர்க்கிறேன். ஒவ்வொரு விரலும் ரம்பத்தின் பற்கள். கையால் இழுத்து அணைக்கையில் எதுவும் நடக்கலாம். மன்னியுங்கள், கையுள்ளோர் எல்லோரும் சந்தேகத்திற்குரியவர்களே. எல்லாம் அறியச் செய்தாய். நோக்கம், பரந்த நோக்கம், குறுகிய நோக்கம், உள்நோக்கம், வெளிநோக்கம், நோக்கத்தின் நோக்கம், நோக்கமல்லா நோக்கம், ஒற்றை கண்ணியில் கால் சிக்க வைத்து எல்லாம் அறியச் செய்தாய். தண்டனிடுகிறேன் ஈசனே. ஆகுதல். 3 நாட்களாக மழையை பார்த்து கொண்டிருக்கிறேன். சாரல், தூறல், செல்லச் சினுங்கள், மிதம், சீர்வேகம், தலையில் கல், இடையிடை மௌனம், அங்காந்து நிற்கும் உயிர்களுக்கு ஊன். பெருங்குளத்தில், நீள் ஆற்றில், நெடுங்கடலில் போய்ச் சேர்கிறது வெள்ளம். ஒரே ஒரு மழைத்துளி ஆகிவிட்டால் போதும், வானிலிருந்து விழலாம், கடலில் போய்ச் சேரலாம். தெய்வமொழி. உங்கள் எல்லார் மீதும் அறம் பாடும் அளவு கோபம் எனக்கு. கொடும்பாவி கொளுத்திய கைகள் அதே தீயில் தீயட்டும் என்றோ, நஞ்சு தோய்த்த அம்பென பாய்ந்து வந்த சொற்கள் அனைத்தும் அப்படியே திரும்பி கல் நெஞ்சங்களில் குருதி பெருக காயப்படுத்தி உயிர் போக்கட்டும் என்றோ, சீலங்களின் காவலர்களே திரை விலகி எல்லா இரகசியங்களும் அம்பலமாகட்டும் என்றோ, உங்கள் எலும்புகள் பொடிந்த காடுடைய சுடலை பொடிபூசி பித்தன் நடம் புரியட்டும் என்றோ, பொய் உதிர்க்கும் உதடுகள் வேகட்டும் என்றோ, பொக்கென வந்து குவியும் கும்பல் சாகட்டும் என்றோ, அறம்பாடும் அளவு கோபம் எனக்கு. என் தெய்வ மொழியில் சாபத்திற்கு சொற்கள் இல்லை. பிழைத்துப் போங்கள். நன்றி.
To give us a flavor of the same poem in English, Nandini will now read a poem called Divine Tongue, which was just read out.
Yes. I also have to say this was just translated an hour and a half ago, and it in no way does justice to what Mr. Perumal Murugan read. His usual translators, my dear friend Anirudhan Vasudevan and Mr. Kalyan Raman, neither of whom was available at this moment. But this is a very powerful poem and was written during the 2 years that Mr. Perumal Murugan said he had committed literary suicide. The poem is called Divine Tongue. My rage against all of you makes me want to weave into chants curses upon you. May the hands that burnt me in effigy burn and be charred in those very same fires. May the poison-soaked arrows of words that darted at me turn right around and tear blood-soaked wounds in the stone hearts of those that hurl them and snuff out their lives. And you, the moral police, may the curtains part on the skeletons in your cupboards. May the Lord of Destruction smear the ashes of your powdered bones on his forehead as he thunders in the dance of death. May the lips that spouted untruth splutter in oil and wither. May the crowds that gather with much rage and no conviction perish and die. I carry enough rage within me to weave into chants curses upon you. Yet, my divine tongue has no words for curses. So go away and live another day.
Thank you so much, Nandini, Mr. Murugan. Our next poet is Zuni Chopra. Zuni has published 2 books of poetry, a novel and a collection of short stories. Her latest is called The Island of the Day Before, a collection of stories and poems. Zuni?
Hey guys, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous because I'm on this stage with such amazing authors and I haven't even finished high school yet. Okay, so my collection of poems was based on the theme of the modern fairy tale. So my first poem is called, they're all very short. My first poem is called They've Got It Wrong. They've got it wrong. Jack was foolish, Red disobedient, Pansy naive, Ella stubborn, Aladdin a thief, Goldie indecisive, Puss a rotten crook, and Beauty in love with a castle more than a prince. And yet, imagine what we'd have left of them if they'd never strayed from the path. Because, between you and I, Granny's house burnt down long ago. Okay, the next one is called The Sailor's Wife. She was blue, and I wanted her. I wanted her vibrant waves of hair, tumbling one after another to her shores. I wanted her depth, her gently swaying surface that swelled with life. I wanted her smooth, cool skin. It slipped between my fingers, liquidized heaven, never truly mine. I wanted her resilience. I wanted the fierceness of her spirit. And so I confessed my love for her, hoping to have been strong like she was. But I would be consumed by her, so breathtaken by love that I went out too far, till my heart, the very heart I offered her, smashed against the rocks. I sank like a stone. She watched me go, engulfing me forever. I loved her still. Okay. I'm having to read from the index and then flip to each page immediately, so this is kind of stressful. Okay. Okay. The next one's called To Stay Alive, which I wrote during exam season, mostly because I was just being overdramatic, but at least a poem came out of it. So, if I were to stay alive, it would only be for the way the sun shines on the leaves of aging trees, for the way the clouds cast shadows on the sky, for the way the wind burns as it rubs against my eyes, for the way the streams gurgle as they run over your feet, for the way the children giggle as they pass you on the street, for the way the ocean roars when it's too restless to play, for the way the moon shimmers at the end of every day, for the way the fire crackles when the night is far from end, for the way that something magic might be waiting across the bend. And the last one, which is all the way at the back, is called Moments in Between. Is it okay to start a piece without knowing what it is? Could be a poem, I guess, but the sentences are too long. Besides, doesn't rhyme, doesn't flow, just is. It's weird, I think. All this art, all these scripts, all these plays, and no one really cares about the moments in between. Not grand moments of triumph, not horrific moments of loss, not interesting moments of silence, not meaningful moments filled with nonsense, not inescapable moments of complex emotion, just moments in between, where you sit and do nothing. Don't even think, don't debate, you just are, a floating piece of flesh and bone and blood in the universe. Those moments staring out of a car window, through raindrops or sunshine or mist, Those moments when you've just stepped out of the shower and you're still warm. Those moments when you're on the verge of sleep, but just not quite there yet. You need these moments. They give you peace. They let you be. They exist like the air around us, loved and lingering, yet always forgotten. Sure, yes, kings and queens ascend thrones and vanquish armies. Little girls with explosive imaginations stumble down rabbit holes, or vanish into closets, or almost lose their souls to a woman with buttons for eyes. Gods and goddesses shower a mortal with prizes and love and magic. These things do happen every day, but that's not what makes these people who they are. It was never their greatest, most shining moments, rife with the stuff of temple mosaics. It was the moments in between. So this is an ode then, a toast. Here's to you, dear reader. Here's to the moments in between.
Thank you so much, Zuni. I think, as an aside, I think Zuni is the youngest speaker at JLF this year as well. Mr. Aadil Raza Mansoori is a prominent Urdu poet, writer and editor. His edited anthology, Khidki Mein Khawab, is considered one of the best by a young poet in Urdu. Istifsaar is seen as a pioneering Urdu magazine and was awarded Best Magazine and Aadil Raza Mansoori Best Editor for 2017 by DPLB and the Ministry of Culture. He has more than 300 publications to his credit. Aadil ji.
शुक्रिया JLF। एक नज़्म का उन्वान है ज़माना पहले। ये नाम तुमने सुने तो होंगे, कोई है बुद्धो, कोई है गौतम, कोई है शाक्य मुनि, कहीं तो कहीं पर कोई सिद्धार्थ भी है। ये नाम तुमने सुने तो होंगे, कोई है बुद्धो, कोई है गौतम, कोई है शाक्य मुनि, कहीं तो कहीं पर कोई सिद्धार्थ भी है। मगर ये सच है वो एक ही है, ये नाम सारे उसी के हैं बस, जो घर से अपने निकल पड़ा था अकेली शब में ज़माने भर से उदास होकर। ये नाम सारे मगर ये सच है वो एक ही है, ये नाम सारे उसी के हैं बस, जो घर से अपने निकल पड़ा था अकेली शब में ज़माने भर से उदास होकर। वही अकेला तो है कि जिसने निर्वाण पाया, फिर उसके नक्शे कदम पर यारो हज़ारों लाखों निकल पड़े थे, निकल रहे हैं कि चल रहे हैं, मगर ज़माना भुला चुका है, मगर ज़माना भुला चुका है, यशोदरा भी था नाम उसका, मगर ज़माना भुला चुका है, यशोदरा भी था नाम उसका, कि जिसने निर्वाण पा लिया था तुम्हारे शाक्य मुनि से पहले, ज़माना पहले। एक नज़्म है, नज़्म का उन्वान है हम सब ख्वाजा सरा हैं। ख्वाजा सरा मीन्स द थर्ड जेंडर। चुने ही नहीं जाते फूल, करता ही नहीं कोई पिंडदान, लगता ही नहीं कदबा हमारी कब्रों पर। हम किसी भी मसलक के हों, हमें मिलती है एक सी मौत, छुपते छुपाते उठाई जाती है मैयत, भेजी जाती हैं लानतें, कोसा जाता है हमारा जन, बरसाए जाते हैं जूते मुर्दा जिस्म पर। हम सब यही करते आए हैं, मैं भी यही करता आया हूँ। हमारी मैयतों को मयस्सर ही नहीं होता सूरज, हम सब ख्वाजा सरा हैं, हम सब मरने से डरते हैं। गज़ल के कुछ शेर आप देख लें, मतलब और एक मतलब और एक है। किवाड़ बंद है, खिड़की में इंतज़ार नहीं, किवाड़ बंद है, खिड़की में इंतज़ार नहीं, तो क्या किसी के लिए कोई बेकरार नहीं। किवाड़ बंद है, खिड़की में इंतज़ार नहीं, तो क्या किसी के लिए कोई बेकरार नहीं। सभी हैं नींद की बाहों में मुंतज़िर, लेकिन सभी हैं नींद की बाहों में मुंतज़िर, लेकिन किसी को ख्वाब की आमद पर इख्तियार नहीं। सभी हैं नींद की बाहों में मुंतज़िर, लेकिन किसी को ख्वाब की आमद पर इख्तियार नहीं। और एक शेर सुन लीजिए कि हम ही से पूछ लो जितने सवाल हों जी में, हम ही से पूछ लो जितने सवाल हों जी में, हमारे बाद की नस्लों का एतबार नहीं। हम ही से पूछ लो जितने सवाल हों जी में, हमारे बाद की नस्लों का एतबार नहीं। ये गज़ल का मतलब देख लें कि इत्तेफाकन यही हकीकत है, इत्तेफाकन यही हकीकत है, रूठ जाना खुदा की आदत है। इत्तेफाकन यही हकीकत है, रूठ जाना खुदा की आदत है। नब्ज़ पर हाथ रख के वो बोला, नब्ज़ पर हाथ रख के वो बोला, आपको प्यार की ज़रूरत है। नब्ज़ पर हाथ रख के वो बोला, आपको प्यार की ज़रूरत है। और एक आखिर में ये गज़ल का मतलब सुन लें कि रास्ते सिखाते हैं किससे क्या अलग रखना, मंजिलें अलग रखना, काफ़िला अलग रखना। रास्ते सिखाते हैं किससे क्या अलग रखना, मंजिलें अलग रखना, काफ़िला अलग रखना। बाद एक मुद्दत के लौट के वो आया है, बाद एक मुद्दत के लौट के वो आया है, आज तो कहानी से हादिसा अलग रखना। बाद एक मुद्दत के लौट के वो आया है, आज तो कहानी से हादिसा अलग रखना। लौट कर तो आए हो तजुर्बों की सूरत में, पर मेरी कहानी से फ़लसफ़ा अलग रखना। लौट कर तो आए हो तजुर्बों की सूरत में, पर मेरी कहानी से फ़लसफ़ा अलग रखना। कूज़ागर मेटाफर है, खुदा के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ कि कूज़ागर ने जाने क्यों आदमी बनाया है, कूज़ागर ने जाने क्यों आदमी बनाया है, इसको सब खिलौनों से तुम ज़रा अलग रखना। कूज़ागर ने जाने क्यों आदमी बनाया है, इसको सब खिलौनों से तुम ज़रा अलग रखना। तुम तो खूब वाकिफ़ हो, अब तुम ही बताओ ना, किस में क्या मिलाना है, किससे क्या अलग रखना। तुम तो खूब वाकिफ़ हो, अब तुम ही बताओ ना, किस में क्या मिलाना है, किससे क्या अलग रखना। और ख्वाहिशों का खमियाजा ख्वाब क्यों भरे आदिल, ख्वाहिशों का खमियाजा ख्वाब क्यों भरे आदिल, आज मेरी आँखों से रत जगह अलग रखना, आज मेरी आँखों से रत जगह अलग रखना।
बहुत शुक्रिया आदिल जी. Our last poet for the evening is Eliza Griswold. She's the author of The 10th Parallel, Dispatches from the Fault Line Between Christianity and Islam, which won the J. Anthony Lukas Book Prize in 2011. Her translation, I Am the Beggar of the World, of Afghan woman folk poems, was awarded the 2015 PEN Award for Poetry in Translation. Her own body of poetry has also won the Rome Prize in 2010. She is currently a distinguished writer in residence at NYU and holds fellowships from the New America Foundation, the Guggenheim Foundation, and Harvard University. Eliza.
Well, I just want to say thank you. It is such an honor to be here, and it really, a crowd like this in New York to hear poetry is unheard of, and I think you all should really be so proud of yourselves, and it's pretty amazing. It is changing. It's changing. The interest and appetite in America for poetry is changing as we really do face a crisis, and people in crisis find the value of poetry as they do in art. So it's an interesting time to be writing and reading poetry in the U.S. So I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint the groovers in the front row because they were really, and I could not understand those amazing poems, which were not even typed yet. They're drafted. Amazing. So we'll just go with it. So I'm going to start with a poem called Goodbye, Mullah Omar. Mullah Omar, of course, being the late head of the Afghan Taliban. And I'm going to start with one of these folk poems that Afghan women have been singing for a long, long time about Mullah Omar, knowing full well that he's been dead. And this is the poem. It's a 2-line poem. It's called Lande, and there's no one is quite sure where these poems come from. They are most definitely related to the travel of Indo-Aryan caravans millennia ago, and probably related to the slokas, to the Vedas, because they're couplets. So this one goes, wormwood grows on the one-eyed mullah's grave. Wormwood grows on the one-eyed mullah's grave. The Talib boys fight blindly on, believing he's alive. Charlie says when Afghan men get together, the number of eyes is always odd, a generation of outdated wounds. No longer cool or relevant, the Taliban can't muster the fear they used to. The duffers stalk the graveyard and the chalk, finger their henna'd beards. They cultivate cartoon. Once, a deaf-mute pressed her thumb to chin to warn me they were coming. The universal symbol, fear the beard. There's ancient precedent for their love of the fore-flattened image. In medieval painting, failure is a form of prayer. To render perspective less precisely indicates humility. The bowed head knows its flaws. The land belongs to ISIS now. No one settles for an eye. How quaint, how Deuteronomy. The depiction that matters is inflicting suffering on others. Where are your scars? Where are your scars now? Where are your scars now, Wonder Boys? I spend a lot of my life as a journalist, and some of that is a great privilege to just witness the migration of people at this time of history. And so this is a poem from Lampedusa, basically the southernmost point in Italy one can arrive from North Africa, and it's called Prayer. What can we offer the child at the border? A river of shoes, her coat stitched with coins, her father killed for his teeth, her mother sewing her daughter's future into a hem, alone but for a brother who shoves her ahead through the barbed wire fence, knowing she's safer without him, a truth she cannot yet fathom, being too young for the ways of men. Nothing is what we can offer. The child died years ago, except practice a finer caliber of kindness to the stranger, rather than wield this burden of self, this harriedness. Humility means less of us. Now we have some dolphins. This is a poem called Key West, from one of the most southern places in Florida. In a brackish inlet along Route 1, a pod of bored dolphins paints T-shirts and pretend to be balloons with the air running out, thrashing about and farting from their mouths. It's true they seem to be smiling. It's also the shape of their jaw. Up close, they do like applause. It could be that lunch comes after. There's no looking at a dolphin and not knowing this creature is smarter than we are. Their mothers name them, a watery staccato of clicks and squeaks. They are also conscious breathers. They think to take in air, unlike the rest of us, for whom consciousness of anything is rare, let alone oxygen. Yesterday, we watched a wild pair play with our boat. Their shadows darkened just before they broke the surface. They stayed close, though no one was feeding them. They could have swum away. Now I'm going to do what no poet is supposed to do. I wrote a poem today. And I'm looking at the remarkable palace, once upon a time palace where we're staying, and I saw a man, and I wrote this poem, and it's called Onward. This is it. And also, I think these guys need a serious round of a hand, because do you know how poets read way over time, every single reading, and these guys were on it at their 7 minutes, and that's a huge gift to everybody. Okay, so here's Onward. A man swings from the palace. An age has drawn to an end. To what end? Who can say? And the man, who knows what his eyes had fixed on in the unruly firmament? Which star in the madness of stars beckoned him, saying, no, not saying, no need to say, come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eliza. And as Eliza said, everyone's been on time, which is fantastic. And as a result, we have time for audience questions. So if we can get the mics out, and if anyone has questions for any of our poets today, Now would be a good time. I see a hand up in the back. Any more hands? One over here.
Yeah, this is a question which I like to ask all the panelists. I mean, anybody can answer that. Is poetry commercially viable for poets? Can we sustain ourselves writing poetry today?
Anyone who wants it.
Is this on? This one is on. Yeah. For me, from my experience, I say no. But there are some poets who sell a lot and lots and lots of books. So maybe, poets in the U.S. like Ocean Vuong, I think sold around 40,000 copies of his books. But I don't know whether that generates any income for him. For me, I'd say not really. But that's not why we write. It's it sustains us in a much deeper way.
वैसे भी शायरी का ताल्लुक पेट से नहीं, दिल और दिमाग से होता है.
I think I'd like to perhaps stick to the schedule a little. But any other questions? Yes, over there in the back. Oh, actually, this hand was up first. Yeah.
My question is to Zuni Chopra, because I'm awed by your performance. I mean, at this stage when we were way off the track, you are here reciting this strong poetry. So I'm curious that what is the thing that drives you to write this strong kind of poems which you are now delivering? So what is that thing which is driving you behind it?
Well, I guess, okay, this is a really lame answer, but I don't know. It's just something that I've always loved to do, and it's something that I've always really enjoyed. And from when I was young, I really loved the stories that writing could tell and how it could just move you to a whole different universe. And I'm not sure who said this, but someone said that if you're wondering whether you should write, ask yourself, do I need to write? And if the answer is I must, then you should. And I guess it's just something that's always been sort of a part of you in a way of expressing yourself into the world. And for me also, through high school, it's been also a way of keeping a sense of self amidst all the craziness about grades and universities and all of that. Because I feel like it's important for everyone in high school to have something that they're doing outside of school in any capacity, because there's always going to be somebody getting a better grade than you are, so you can't define yourself by that. So I think that it's something wonderful to sort of to have with you, and and even in answer to the first question, definitely not, right? But if that stops you from writing it, then you shouldn't have written it in the first place.
Thank you. Can we get the mic over there?
As Zeina earlier stated that she writes bilingual poets, that is the duet. How does that particularly work out? There's Hindi and Urdu, you can kind of balance it, but English and Arabic, they're not at all sensical. So my question is, how does that balance comes in the poem?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think the poems are just a result of who I am. I am a person whose, first language is Arabic, was French educated, and then sort of migrated into English. And so I think they're just a natural result of how I speak to my, friends and family every day. I intermingle Arabic and English within the same sentence. And so I've been writing English for quite some time and maybe introducing some Arabic phrases within an English poem. I wanted Arabic to be a more equal partner, because it is a more equal partner in my head. And how they work on the page, if that's another part of your question, is so if you only read English, you've got an English poem. And if you only read Arabic, you've got an Arabic poem. And if you read this way, so if you're bilingual and you read across, hopefully a third poem, a third dimension from this, dialogue between the two poems emerges. And the two languages don't always agree with one another. So I could be talking about something in English and then describing it in a completely different way in Arabic, because I think language does change perception to a certain extent. Thank you.
I think when you see them on the page, that makes a lot of sense as well. I saw a hand up there. The gentleman in the front, perhaps.
Okay, quick one for anybody. Do poets have a favorite genre, like a love poem or politics? And I understand reading poetry that they do evolve over time. The poet's tastes evolve. But does a poet hold true to one of his favorite genres as they mature in life?
Fantastic question, I think. Would anyone like to answer?
Well, I haven't matured in life, so I'm not going to answer this one.
I think maybe you mean a favorite theme. Like, I believe that we all have certain obsessions, and that these obsessions stick with us throughout our lives. So one of my obsessions is the idea of place or language. But you're right, we do also, I think I've been exploring other themes in my poetry other than language and place, and that's very exciting. But I will never let go of those central, I think, obsessions for me. Anyone else?
To an extent, what Zeina says is right, लेकिन आपके लाशऊर में एक चीज़ चलती है, बैक ऑफ द माइंड. लेकिन अगर कोई पोएट ये सोच के पोइट्री कर रहा है कि उसे क्या कहना है, तो माफ़ कीजिए, वो पोइट्री नहीं कर रहा. क्योंकि पोइट्री इज़ द प्रोसेस ऑफ नोइंग समथिंग, नॉट टेलिंग एनीथिंग. तो यू इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ पोइट्री यू नो योर सेल्फ, राइट. तो आप किसी को बता कुछ नहीं रहे होते, तो किसी को जानना नहीं होता, तो प्री डिफाइंड माइंड कुछ नहीं होता, एज पर मी.
I think we have time for one last question in the back over there.
It's a question for all the panelists. I have a website with some of my friends that focuses on literature and poetry. One thing I come across frequently is how important is accessibility and meaning of the poem. Like should the reader has to work to understand the poem, or the poems that come naturally are better for the readers?
I think this question of accessibility is really an important one. We see, in American poetry right now, a wide range, and highly, highly accessible poetry is very, very popular. It's not really the school of poetry from which I come necessarily, although I do believe that I like somebody to enter a poem and understand where they're going, and when they come out of that poem, know where they've been. So I don't think it's probably, it's really a matter of taste. Because I think one of the fallacies about poetry is if it's hard to understand, it's by definition better. That's not true, right? But by the same token, if it's easy, if it's extremely accessible in a way that is really just about exploiting emotion, then I'm not sure that I would be with that either. Does that make sense?
I think I can add something there. I remember, I think Ted Hughes said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, all the trouble in the world comes from people writing about things they don't know in ways they don't know. Anyway, with that, I think we've come to the end of our time for this evening. I'd like to thank you all for being such a fantastic audience. Those were great questions. One last thing. If you enjoyed what you heard today, if you enjoyed hearing from our speakers, our poets, I'd request you all to go through the bookshop and take a look at their books, because much as people need poetry, poetry needs people. Thank you.